everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me this lovely, sunny, bright day. Yes, as you can see, I'm wearing a very interesting shirt, and you read it correctly. It does say Future Corpse. Today, I want to talk about a couple of things. Why I'm death positive, Future Corpse, and that doesn't mean I want to, like, die right now. We've been through that. I'm in a really happy place with my mental health, my death plan, and how this is just another journey I want to be on and breaking down the stigma of being death positive. So let's break down some terms. First and foremost, what is death positive, or being death positive, or the death positive movement? The death positive movement is a social and philosophical movement that encourages people to speak openly about death, dying, and corpses, and you know other necessarily or unnecessarily spooky things, and what that, just being open and honest about this conversation, like being mental health positive and breaking down that stigma. Death positive just means you're really open to talking about death, dying, disease, corpses, what you want with your death plan. So let's just going from there. What is a death plan? A death plan basically allows you to relieve the burden of your decision making from the shoulders. I know how to speak words. From those who you love, basically creates what I would assume is a peaceful end of life. Why? Where did this start? Let's talk about where this all started. So I was working in a bookstore. I used to work in a bookstore. Will I probably work in a bookstore ever again? Maybe, but never Barnes & Noble. We will talk about that later. I used to work in a bookstore, and we got these things called advanced reader copies, or ARCs, and basically they are unedited proofs of books that are up and coming. Hey, Maeve! She likes those too. Basically, they're up-and-coming novels of any sorts of, like, local authors to, like, big people like John Grisham and John Green and any other John authors that provide ARCs. But we got an ARC one day called Smoke Gets in Your Eyes by Caitlin Doty. Who is Caitlin Doty? I will link to her videos down below, but she basically is one of the most amazing people in the world. She is super death positive. She owns a green funeral home and a natural funeral home, whatever you want to call that, in Los Angeles. She started out in this book explaining her life's work, basically being a crematory operator around the Bay Area, and going from there to owning a natural funeral home, to starting the Order of the Good Death. She also has a YouTube channel called Ask a Mortician, where she shows a bunch of death positive and green funeral home stuff, but she also goes and covers topics like the Donner Party, mummies, how to run a funeral home, absolutely everything. So I read her book, I fell in love, and I was initially scared. I will say that. I was initially scared of death. I mean, who isn't? But realizing that, death is inevitable. Everyone dies eventually. I want to be able to look at it in a good light. And I want to be able to plan what I want, when I want, and make sure that my wishes are respected and give back to the earth. I don't want to disrespect any of my family members, but when my great-grandmother passed away, her funeral was just, I mean, I was like 6 or 7, so I was young, but, this is kind of a contention of the family and how her funeral / memorial service was run. There was a lot of like, well, no, you don't think she wanted this, but no, she wanted this. She had several children, and her brothers and her sisters, they all wanted something to be part of this ceremony, but they really didn't know what in general she wanted, because when she passed away, it wasn't something you talked about. People either got embalmed or cremated, and you had a memorial service a couple of years in the future. And her husband, my great-grandfather, passed away, and that was the first time I ever saw a dead body. My grandmother, her father, so my grandmother really wanted to go say goodbye in a viewing. And so my dad and my grandfather went with my grandmother and myself, and again, that was the first time I saw a dead body. And I just remember how, because he was 99 when he died? He was so close. Like, he was a couple months shy of 100. I just remember seeing my great-grandfather looking so peaceful. Getting into that aspect is a lot of the conversation when it came to his death was, we don't want what happened at great-grandma's funeral to happen. So it really got me thinking, and mind you, I was a little older, but I still, again, death scared me. I honestly thought that my great-grandfather was gonna just like, jump up and be like, ask me about my cheerleading or how was school and everything like that. It got me started to thinking, and I came from a family where my parents definitely let me know what they wanted when they passed, you know, what music they wanted at their memorial service, you know, whether they want to be cremated or buried. So again, gears, they're turning. And then I read Caitlin Doty's books, which are both linked down below, and I watched her videos, and it got me absolutely thinking, what is my death plan? I am putting it out there so that people know what I want. I have also given this letter or list or told my parents this is what I want. Through the process of watching Caitlin's videos, I learned about the process of alkaline hydrolysis, aka aquamation. It is a greener form of kind of like cremation. So in the cremation, they burn the body, you get ashes. Right now, let's pull this. This is actually my grandmother. This is part of my grandmother's ashes. I was able to obtain some of her, and I'm very, very honored that I was able to obtain some of her ashes. We'll bring this back up in a minute, so love you, Grandma. That's not awkward. So in cremation, which my grandmother was cremated, they end up in this kind of like greeny ash with some bone fragments. It puts a lot of carbon into the air, honestly, and I'm very much about the earth. And so when I heard about aquamation, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Because in my aspect is I would like to be able to provide something back to my loved ones. Whether it be through ashes or locks of hair or, you know, and this is kind of controversial, you can actually get tattoos preserved. So if someone wanted to take a part of any of my tattoos and preserve it to keep that, I would not mind. Or, and why I have some of my grandmother's ashes is you can put ash into tattoo ink. And so when I do eventually get my grandmother's, you know, finances, tattoos are expensive, but when I eventually get my grandmother's tribute tattoo, this whole arm is going to be a tribute of family tattoos. When I get it, I am going to add some of her ashes to the tattoo. So if someone wanted to do that with some of my ashes and honor me that way, or get me put into a pendant, or, you know, put me into a tree or anything, I would like to be able to give that to people. So with the process of aquamation, basically it uses hot water and a lye and various other elements in a solution to break down your body through decomposition like super fast. I'll link down below to Caitlin's video about it and some websites so you guys can learn more about it. But basically there isn't a massive carbon footprint that is put off by this, but you still basically get the same result as you would cremation through ash. It's a little bit more of a finer ash and there's less bone fragments. The sad part about this is that in Washington State, where I currently live, it is not legal for human remains. It is legal for animal remains only, as far as I know. So hopefully by the time that I do pass that is a option, because if you guys don't know, Washington State is a massive green state, and I'm surprised that it has not passed since then. Green or natural burial, it basically emphasizes sustainability and simplicity, and I love that. And being able to give back to the earth and with my death and not providing such a huge environmental impact, I love it. That is all for me. And there are other green natural ways of burial and that I've definitely thought about, like a shroud, which is basically you cover your body in a shroud and you get put into the ground, and that's it. If anyone decides that, and I hope, and here's the thing, I really hope that when I pass that people respect my wishes. But if anyone decides to cremate me, I will haunt you. Do not embalm me. I do not want to be stuck in a grave for, and again, this is to no offense if this is what you want to do with your life. These are my personal choices, but I do not want to be stuck in a grave for ages where my bones just lay there. And plus, when those chemicals leach, do you realize, like, if a funeral director has to put on, like, basically a hazmat suit to pump these chemicals in, they're not good for the earth. Oh my, no, I do not want to provide that back to the earth. If you want to add my ashes to a tree, go ahead. If you want, just please, just like, make my life and my death environmentally friendly. That being said, when it comes to my memorial service, if there is one, I don't want one. And everyone's gonna be like, how are people gonna, remember you? And, get in, again, if you want to get into a big group and cry in front of a church or a place, or all for that, all, you do you. But when it comes to me, I really like the approach that when my grandmother died, basically I called up my mom and I asked her, I was like, are we having a service or anything? And she's like, no, go have her favorite drink. She really liked appletini. So I went to one of my local bars and I ordered an appletini. I had a friend come with me and we just sat and we had appletinis and I talked about my grandmother, and I thought that was perfect. So when I die, I do not want a memorial service. I don't want a funeral service. I want my friends and family to gather a group of people, if it's with them together or if it's with their friends, go have a pint of cider or a shot of whiskey on my behalf and talk about me. That's all. Just go have a shot and a pint. That's all I could wish for. And, cheers to my memory. That sounds like a perfect way to end my legacy. And when it comes to, like, the personal effects and everything like that, like, I definitely have a list and a will already set up. Yes, I have a will. I will, again, link down below to that video where Caitlin Doty, I think it was Caitlin Doty, I'll have to look, basically sets up, you don't necessarily have to have a lawyer to have a will. So I will find that video, I will link it down below, but basically I do have a will of who gets what. And big thing is I am an organ donor. I highly recommend. I've heard of laws where basically every time you get a license, everyone has to be an organ donor, and you have to check a box if you don't want to be an organ donor, or you can't be an organ donor. I like that. Make everyone an organ donor, because really, are you gonna use them when you're dead? If my kidneys are functioning, if my corneas are functioning, they're gonna get burned anyway. Like, so there's gonna be a little less ash left of me. Who cares? I don't give my heart, give my kidneys, whatever, my tissues, my corneas. part of my brainstem. Like, freaking, I'm already, like, on a bunch of, like, registries to, like, be bone marrow donors or stuff like that. Like, if someone else can benefit after I'm gone from something that I have, do it. Damn it, be an organ donor. This has turned into like organ donors. Anyway, that's my death plan. And if you really like this shirt, you can visit desalon.com. I think they have an Etsy. I don't know if they sell this shirt anymore, but they have a bunch of death positive shirts that you can purchase to help it be part of this movement. And I want to, they actually just moved into Hollywood, but it is called Memento Mori. So if you're in the LA area, and I got this when I was in LA. They used to be in Silver Lake, but now I think they are officially open on April 2nd. But they are in Hollywood, right near Amoeba, kind of in that area. So go check them out. It's an oddity shop with quirky jewelry, and you can get death salon stuff there. Also, please check all the links below. Go check out, like, Caitlin's videos or her books. Check out Aquamation. What are your death plans? Like, go, if you're comfortable discussing this with your family, please go do so, because I feel like I am a lot closer to my family now that I have told them what I wanted. You know, I know what they want. Like, I have a sibling who wants to be donated for science. One of my parents wants to be cremated. The other one wants to be buried. And you can bury cremated ashes. So if you want, but your parents stay together, you can. You can turn someone into a tattoo. Like, I am so honored that I was able to get these. There are so many options. It's just, you have to start talking about it. You have to accept it. Like with my mental health videos, the more we talk about it, the more the walls break down and the more the stigma against it ends. I feel a lot of peace knowing that I have told what I want. I feel like my death is going to be, when the time comes, a great one. And I know that my wishes will be respected. So yes, my name is Vivian, I am death positive, and I will be a future corpse. My grandmother and I say thank you so much for watching. If you could please hit that like button, subscribe, ring that bell, it lets you know when I get new videos out, whenever that is. And until next time, guys, sláinte. Death positive. When your nose piercing gets all, I don't want to pick my nose on camera.